Hi there. My name's Jennifer Phelps of Jennifer Phelps Organize, Design, Reinvent. And I have a question for you. Since we have been spending so much extra time at home over the last few months, I want to ask you how it felt to be in your home space or your home office or maybe your makeshift home office, as the case may be. Did it feel like a great retreat? Was it relaxing and beautiful and an island in the storm of the world gone mad? Or did you rip it all apart and reorganize everything because you had the time and the anxious energy to do it? Or did you feel like the walls were just closing in and you were just surrounded by drowning in clutter, chaos, and soul-sucking blech? Well, let me talk to you about, I want to talk to you about our relationship to our stuff, and I'm going to call it clutter, but there's more to it than that. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to talk about how to get organized and stop throwing time, money, and confidence down the drain. All right, bear with me here as I get this going. Here we go. All righty. There we go. All right. Okay, so stop throwing time, money, and confidence down the drain. People say, how does that have anything to do with my, office or my home or whatever? Well, I'm going to talk to you about that. You might not want to call your stuff clutter, and that's fine, but maybe some of the things that I'm telling will help you look at things a little bit differently. Clutter doesn't have to be a lot of stuff. Clutter can just be, let's see what clutter can be. All right, so here's what is clutter. So clutter is the unused and unloved. It's the untidy or disorganized, which we all know about that, right? Too much stuff for the space. Unfinished projects. I am the queen of unfinished projects. I admit it. And the thing is that this happens in your space, your home, your environment, and in your brain. So how is it that that stuff has any effect on us? Well, let me show you. So as you think about what is your clutter condition in your home office, or your makeshift office, let's see. So here's the thing about that. A dysfunctional environment or a cluttered space costs you time and money. It's a thief because, you go to Costco and you buy that big double packet of vitamin C that's supposed to be like 90 days and then another 90 days. And then after 90 days, you can't find the other one because you have 90 days of Costco stuff crammed in front of the other one. So you get in your car, you go to the store, you buy some more, you come back, and then by the time you find the other one, it's expired, right? So not only have you wasted product, but you've wasted time and you've wasted money. And that's how it goes all the time. Let's say professionally, you can't find that file for that client. You want to impress them. You want to be on time to the meeting. And instead, the time you spend looking makes you late and you do not appear professional and they don't have confidence in you. So there are a lot of ways that clutter costs us time and money. Don't even get me started on those FOMO or 2-for-1 sales, because they know how to sell to us. We don't need all that stuff, but they know how to get us. Marketers know more about our brains than we do. So here we go. So here's the thing also, this is, I love the brain science of organization. I'm not Mary Poppins. I know that life is messy and I embrace that. But there are places where if we have some control over our environment, we're not at the mercy of these sorts of things, the wasting of time and money, the loss of focus. So as this says, clutter competes for your attention and wears down your ability to focus and discern, because your brain is wired to take everything in. So while you think you're focusing on this thing in front of you, right, your brain is assessing everything. And so it's kind of, or maybe you just have a lot of stuff in your space, or you have undone projects, or you have stuff that has to go to the dry cleaners, or you have whatever your brand of clutter is in your space. What happens is our brain recognizes and logs all of that, and it's processing all of that. And so what happens is it's like a computer with too many tabs open, and it happens in the background, and we're just running down and running down and running down. So we can't focus, we can't be as attentive, we can't be focused. So this is happening all the time in our space and in our environment and in our brain. So that leads us to the stress side. So once you've been running all over town, replacing stuff, and you look at your credit card statement and you think, holy smokes, I guess I did purchase all of this stuff in my house when I don't even know what it is and I don't even love all of it. And then you look at how stressed you are, how upset you are about not being able to focus. You can't seem to get anything done, or you can't get everything done, or you just don't feel efficient, right? Less focus. All of that stresses you out. So it's clear that clutter and a dysfunctional environment increases your stress. So clutter is constantly telling your brain that your work is never done. And again, like that computer with all the tabs, it is just wearing us down all the time. Okay, so now here's especially for work folks. Now it causes embarrassment. So we know some people have home shame. They don't want to have people in. They don't want to entertain. They're just really uncomfortable having people in. But what about professional people? What about your home office? What about your Zoom backdrop now that we're in the age of Zoom, right? So the question I have to ask is your work environment reflective of the quality of service that you provide, right? So not only are you concerned with, like, would you take your client to your office? Would you have them see what's happening there? Maybe not. Now that we're in the Zoom world, is the space behind you when you meet with colleagues and clients and you do networking or anything like that, what is that communicating to people? I call it your story. What story is your space telling? What story about your professionalism is your background telling you? Now, you might be working out of a closet at home, but there's always something you can do to clarify that space so that you build confidence not only in your clients, but in yourself. And also take a look at what is on the other side of the computer, because you're looking at that while you're trying to feel powerful and a rock star and give the best impression. Sometimes your space is telling you, yeah, you're not really a rock star. So consider that. Consider what's behind you. Consider what's in front of you. And try to address that embarrassment, because clutter isn't really a housekeeping or storage issue. It's a health issue. What do I mean by that? How can that be a health issue? Well, it's a thing. So it makes you sick and fat. So here's how that goes. So many people, so many children have allergies, asthma, respiratory conditions, but we're often living in places that we just have too much stuff. And we literally, the more stuff we have, the harder it is to clean, right? So that's more dust. That's dust in our space. That's dust that just kicks up as we walk along carpet. And it's also all of these things that are circulating through our air conditioning and our heating all the time, on our ceiling fans. So literally, clutter and the inability to clean thoroughly affects your health, respiratory, all of those things. Now, when we know that 60% of illnesses are caused by stress, or at least a lot of them are exacerbated by stress, or like shingles, for example, it can stay under control, but then you get stressed and it'll flare up, right? So when you have stuff in your environment that you're not really managing well, or that is stressing you, or you feel out of control of that environment, that just increases your stress, which then increases stress-related illness. It's not the only thing that makes you ill. It's not the only thing that will make you better. But the point is, that's a piece of our lives that we may be able to control and to shift so that that doesn't cause us as much stress moving forward, particularly if we have autoimmune diseases and things like that that are particularly affected by stress. Okay, so what's on your treadmill? Every year I post a thing on Facebook asking people to tell me or send a photo of what's on their treadmill, right? Because that kind of gives you an impression of how you are with your self-care, right? So if it's full of clothes and clutter and bags of stuff, you're certainly not going to exercise, right? So you're not going to exercise and you're stressed. So people tend to stress eat. And then we just say, forget it. I'm just going to sit on the couch with a bag of potato chips. Personally, I like ice cream, but that's how it goes. It contributes to our not taking care of ourselves, right? Also going to affect sleep, because sleep loss and weight gain, because, we're just sitting around because we feel overwhelmed with our space. And that stress causes a sleep loss, because often the last thing you see, well, in fact, the last thing you see before you close your eyes is obviously your bedroom and that space that you're in. And if it's full of things that you don't love, it's full of things that have negative memories or negative messages, you're going to go to sleep with that in your mind, even subconsciously. Then that's the first thing you see when you wake up in the morning. It's just a never-ending cycle, which leads me to the fact that the anxiety, depression, clutter cycle is well documented in psychology journals. And that brings us to the woo-woo stuff, which is really my favorite stuff. When I work with my clients, I see that this is what's happening with people, and that's where I want to start working. Because how we perceive ourselves, that's where the confidence comes from. That's where we feel, that's where our sense of professionalism comes from. But when we look at why our space is the way that it is, these are causes and effects. There's shame, there's guilt, there's indecision about what to keep and what not to keep, and that is its own stress. Impulse spending and eating to fill that void, it's all just packing things in. You get overwhelmed, get so overwhelmed you become paralyzed. The negative messages and negative memories of the things that are in your home that's from people you don't like or from a time in your life that you weren't happy, but you keep carrying it through your life and you don't necessarily consider letting it go because you just haven't seen it in that light before. So we gain emotional weight, we have scattered thoughts because of that focus issue, anxiety, depression, and a lot of that is causing us to live in the past. We're looking at reminders of our past all the time, right? So then we're talking about the spending, right? So we maybe spend more, we have guilt around that, and that spending issue is also a big concern because you have purchased everything in your space. Do you love it? Was it worth the money? Right? Okay. So what if your space could be transformed? Just imagine. So this office, at the bottom you can see this before. So this is in a dining room, and this office wall is supposed to share the space with the dining room. And it was spread out all over. Pieces and pieces and pieces, and an ineffective desk and no storage, and it was completely ugly. So what I did is I streamlined the space. We figured out how to get the storage, how to manage all the electronics. The electronics are designed into this, this lineup here. And I did this with a client virtually. So I helped them design, I designed it and helped them acquire all the products, and then they put it together. So I can do a virtual program and help people transform their spaces from this disastrous mess that's embarrassing and ineffectual to something that really works. So example, making room, literally. Sometimes we're afraid of space, but there are times when you have to make room. So my clients were pregnant. Their room that was going to be the nursery was just packed full of everything. It was the catch-all closet. So literally took it all apart, managed all of those other things, and created a beautiful container store closet all ready for baby girl to come along. Here's a great example of the Zoom type office, right? So this is obviously a home office. This woman is a high-level executive, but here's what her office looked like. That did not help her build confidence. That did not help her close deals. That did not help her feel like the amazing and skilled person that she is. So what we did is we managed all of those things. Some of it had to go in storage, in the closet. Some of it just could disappear because it didn't need to be there. Some of them were projects that with some accountability, we finished those, so they disappeared. And now can you imagine having your Zoom meetings or Zoom calls in this new space versus the other space? Powerful. And again, like I said, it's not just personally, it's professionally how these things affect us and can really cost us. This woman, she was like #2 in the region for insurance in her company, and she was working out of a laundry room. It was, had a space in it. She was working out of her laundry room. She could never have clients in there. Clients would come over to pick up proposals and everything, and she would just hustle in there by herself and grab the stuff she needed and bring it out. Unfortunately, her husband would let them follow him into these spaces when they came to pick it up. She was mortified. So what we did is we just commandeered the guest room. It wasn't being used as a guest room. So look at that space. Now she has a couch in there as well. So not only does she have a beautiful workspace with a beautiful view, but also she has a couch where she can actually receive her clients, sit comfortably with them, and have those conversations that help and support her clients in the way that she wants to provide that service. Okay. Now this is like every home, right? So this was a storage room. You can't get to anything, but you can't walk through it. It's just a disaster. So I got done with it, and here we had that. And we had a whole new space for gift wrap. We had a beautiful space for luggage. All of this is a large room. Everything was managed, and a ton of stuff disappeared. She just hadn't had the time to sit down and do it. Now she's an eye surgeon, so this was really, this was embarrassing for her that she's this fantastically skilled person, highly successful, and yet this was her home. All righty, how about this? In 3 hours, my client and I managed this. So on the left, you see, holy smokes, floor, drawers overflowing. The back of her closet was literally thigh deep in stuff. And of course, all the kids' stuff ends up in mom's closet. So what we did in 3 hours is we sifted and sorted. We had tons of donation bags in this case, and we found homes for everything. We rearranged all the hanging stuff and managed to find homes for everything. Got all the stuff that didn't belong in there back to the parts of the house where they did belong. Look at that, 3 hours. I did that in 3 hours with clients. Feels great. So here's the thing. I'm going to give you a super quick tutorial on how to do paper, because paper seems to be one of the biggest things that people have problems with, right? So my system here is so darn easy that people say that can't possibly be helpful, but it is. So here's all you have to do. I like Banker's boxes because they have a lid and they're universal, they're uniformly sized. You need one for trash, recycle, shred, and file. This is the file of stuff you have to keep and file at some point. So the whole goal of this is just take 5 or 10 minutes. You don't shred with the shredder. You don't take things out to the trash. You don't make files and file things. You simply get rid of all of the stuff that's unnecessary in the space. So you tackle one pile, one drawer, one square space that you decide. And again, 5 to 10 minutes. Someone said to me, Jennifer, what am I going to accomplish in 5 to 10 minutes? I said, you're going to accomplish more in 5 to 10 minutes than you have accomplished doing nothing for the last 3 years. So the reason I like these again is, now obviously you can throw trash in the trash can, but here's the thing. When you have this system set up, you can just lid the system, stack them up, and then come back to it when you want to next. So you're not ripping everything apart in your office. You're actually able to sort through things, and all you're doing is chucking them in the box. You're not stopping for anything. Every time you stop to make a file, your brain is thinking of something else. You maybe have to go, oh, I have to go get the thing for the thing. First, just reduce everything you don't need. And when you find that bill you had to pay or that phone number you have to call, you can put that in a little action file so that you can really tackle it right away. Okay? Don't underestimate this system. Having to go and get a plastic bag or a paper bag or things that are flimsy and floppy all the time. That is not even a system you can respect yourself. So do something that can be consistent until you're done with your project. Then you can fold these up and pull them out again when you're ready to tackle it again. Okay, so stuff sifting. Again, people tend to try to organize as they go, and that tends to be a real waste of time. That's the kind of thing that helps you feel like at the end you've spent a day but you haven't accomplished anything and you just stirred the stuff. So I say purge first, always purge first. Just take a run through and get rid of what's trash, whatever's broken. Things that you know are going to be able to donate, you make a stack for donating, and anything that needs repair, you make a place to put that. You put it in a box and you give yourself a timeline whether or not you're going to repair those things. Because if you don't repair them, then they're really not that important to you, frankly. Now here's the magic box. It's called the other room box, because what we do is when we're working in one space, we tend to take the thing that goes in the kitchen and we run it to the kitchen, and then we're stuck in the kitchen and we come back and forth and we haven't gotten anything done. This keeps you focused. So near the doorway, you have a box that says other room. So you don't have to leave and run around. You just literally put things that go in the other room in the other room box, and then you can stay in focus, and you're going to feel much more accomplished by the end of the day. So purge first, then arrange. At the end, get the bins and baskets that suit your space and your stuff. Don't get them ahead of time. Alrighty, so deal with mail immediately, control your spending, because like I said, marketing people know us better than we know ourselves. 90% of purchases are unconscious. So when we're in a closet and someone says, oh, I can't get rid of that shirt because I know how much I spent on it, but it still has the tags on, you've never worn it. What happens is we tend to not think about the purchase, but then when we want to get rid of it, that little bit of guilt that we spent the money, suddenly that thing is something highly precious to us. So think before you purchase. And think about what's worthy of your time. You have to manage things. You have to clean things. Things take up your space. What's worthy of your time, attention, money, and space? Reassess that sort of thing. If what's behind you is not helping build your business and build your confidence and build your clients' confidence in you, if your home office doesn't do that, and if your home doesn't help you feel like that's the place you want to go after a day of working hard, where you can relax and enjoy your family, that is something that costs us. Also, all of these things cost us. So it's your story. Edit ruthlessly. The takeaway from this is the give it basket. I want to trademark it, because when you have something that's like a laundry hamper or some sort of container that matches your decor, it's in the closet, it's in the bedroom, it's somewhere, but it's part of your life. So just as you throw dirty clothes in the laundry, when you put something on that you just, oh, this doesn't fit me anymore, or I haven't worn this in forever, or you wear it once and you realize it pulls or something and you don't want to wear it anymore, put it in the basket. Because otherwise what we do is we say we're going to waste a Saturday sometime in the future and ruin our weekend by doing everything all at once. But if you just take things one at a time as you pull them out and put them in a basket, you fill that up, and then what do? You take it and you give it. You give it to a charity that you love. You give it to something on the way to the grocery store, but if you give it to a charity that you love, especially now because they really need stuff, that makes it a habit. It's a great way to get kids involved and have that be part of their learning and their experience of stuff as well. Alrighty. So again, now when you look again at your space, your home, your office, your makeshift office, think again, what is your clutter condition as you look at that? So in the beginning, you may have had an idea, and as we've rolled through these things, maybe you've shifted a little bit about, oh yeah, I kind of see that. I don't need the lanyards from the conference I went to 3 years ago. I know I went to the conference, and it's just dangling there, taking up space, looking cluttered. So reassess your clutter condition. These are ways that you can find me. You can just go to my website, jenniferphelps.org, like organize. That's how you'll find me. I have some great freebies, some great giveaways. And also, I have a 30-minute phone call that people can call me and just ask me whatever. Ask me about their stuff. We will usually come away with an aha and something actionable inside that 30-minute free call. All right, so I have different packages and different ways you can work with me. I'll work in person, not so much right now, but virtually. I have a great virtual program, and I'd be happy to share any of that with you. So that's me, Jennifer Phelps, Jennifer Phelps Organize, Design, Reinvent, at jenniferphelps.org, and find me on social media, and I'm here to help. And I hope that you reassess your clutter condition and help your space support you in being the awesome and successful and abundant and happy person that you are. Thank you so much. I appreciate this, and I'm going to unshare my screen. So there we have it. I hope this was helpful or informative in any way that you could take something away from it, and I appreciate your attention. Thank you so much. Bye.